Most people think they are communicating. They're not. They're just talking, and that's why nothing is growing. So today we're going to talk about communication. And communication is the foundation of all of everything that you produce, that you create, that you any event that you get into, any good, like good or bad. And communication is key. And I kind of learned that in the army when I was in the army. Communication is key. But first, we have to understand what communication actually is. So, welcome everybody to the live stream. We're back in action. We're back in action. So, the word communicate, it means to make information common. That's it. Communicate, just to make information common. What is information? It's data. It's bits and pieces of existence unrealized. Like before we, come in contact with a color or a person or a new concept, we it's just data. When we discover this, for the first time, now it's information. All right. But when we make information common between you and I, this is called communication. And when we make this information common, whether it's good, bad, whether we're arguing, whether we're, passing spirits to one another, whether we are trying to grow a business, whether we're trying to be in a romantic relationship, this is communion. This is communion. We are only able to make information common because we have both agreed to be here in a type of holy matrimony. And this holy matrimony is called communion. I know we think that communion is only for church services, but it's actually in everyday life. In everyday life, this is where agreements happen. This is where compromise occurs. And communication is power. I want you to know that wholeheartedly. Communication is power. Why? Somebody asked me why. Well, communication is power because it directs focus. Communication itself directs the focus of whatever you are experiencing. And you really think about that. Really think about what I just said. Communication is power because it directs focus. It's like the orchestra director or the band director, and it tells you what to put in your mind. It tells you how to envision your future, what you're going to do tomorrow. And you can communicate in many different ways, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Okay, but your communication is how you focus. What you communicate with, whether it be you communicating with Jezebel, You communicating with an archangel, you communicating with God or the devil, your ex-husband, your ex-wife, your husband or your wife, your children, your dogs, like that literally directs your focus. And what is focus? What is focus? Does anybody know? Like what focus actually is? Focus is actually it's part of sight. Okay? Focus is part of sight, and sight is actually ruled and managed by your mind. I'm getting too deep for some people. Okay, we don't see with our eyeballs, and we never have. Fortunately for us, we see with our mind, not with our eyeballs. That's why you can imagine what's going to happen tomorrow, right? If I ask you a real question for you to answer to yourself, what are you going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow, Saturday, are you working? Are you not working? Are you going to watch Netflix? Are you going on a hike? Are you going to the gym? Are you going to get a massage? What are you going to do? Right? Now you have these images in your mind kind of predicting, assuming what you will do tomorrow. And that it only came to you because we are communicating. Communication is so powerful. That's why some parents hide the children from the other parent, because you don't want the child to be influenced. Why? Because because deep down we already kind of knew it, but we didn't have words for it. We knew that fight is a faculty of the mind, and like your brain, you have a lot of different parts of your brain. Like you have, your imagination. You have your, excuse me, your brain. Part of your brain. You have your left hemisphere, your right hemisphere, your frontal lobe, your cerebellum, and many other portions that we all need. Okay, but the brain is only an organ. Did you know that the brain actually is not the organ that thinks? Your brain only sorts data very well. All of your organs only really sort things out. Like your eyeballs, they are an organ and they sort the light. Your brain is the organ, and your brain is not what actually sees. Your brain is not actually what actually thinks. Your mind is what thinks. So inside of your mind, like your brain, there are portions, but your mind, the portions of your mind are actually called faculties. Yeah, they're called faculties of your mind, like imagination, sight, and some other stuff. And if you want to learn more about it, you should enroll in the course See Differently, Lead Stronger. Okay, it's a course that I made, and for you people on YouTube, it'll be down below. All right, but you see with your mind. You see from the portion of your mind called sight, and in sight, everybody put sight in the comments. Okay, now sight is a big umbrella term. The word sight in context to your mind, it encompasses a bunch of different things. Okay, things like focus, attention, visions, dreams, perception, hallucinations, delusion, a bunch of different things. Okay, I'm having a brain fart right now. My memory is also in the portion called your sight. Okay, and what the word attention falls underneath sight. When you understand attention and how it helps with your you actually manifesting your life. And side note, I need to chase a squirrel. Do you know what the word manifest is? It just means to reveal. Manifest. You know, we have had so many gurus online and people that have mystified a lot of the spiritual process, and it's not mystical. It's not flowery. You know, it's very simple, actually, like very short steps. You know, it might not be easy. A lot of it is very, very, very simple. So, sight or excuse me, attention is when you is active direction of the mind. That's what attention means. Active direction of the mind. And what you pay for with your attention in spirit, you get back with inspiration. Now, you might not enjoy the inspiration that you get back from your payment of attention. That's why it's called paying attention. You know, if you pay attention to you, like your car getting repossessed because you can't pay all your bills, well, now you will get destruction. Okay, you will get anxiety. Okay, paying attention to destruction, you get anxiety. Okay, communication directs focus, and focus is what shapes your inner world. Okay, focus is like your left and your right boundary, what you can do and what you cannot do. That's what focus actually is. Okay, now what does focus actually produce? Focus produces clarity. Okay, focus produces what is called clarity. And clarity leads into attention. Is this making sense? Okay, it's like a funnel, but it's all happening in your mind. And it happens with a lot of different things in your mind, not just like money or relationships. It's like with everything, with absolutely everything. You growing your business, you you know, I don't know, eating what the next meal. Okay, it's all in your mind. And if you think your mind's not working, it is. It's always working. Always. It's not. It's like literally always working. You know, your imagination is part of your mind, and you know, the faculty that forms and manipulates images is it's part of your mind. That's your imagination. And when you do not manage your imagination, the devil will. The devil will. You know, a lot of people say, you know, idle mind is a devil's workshop. That's not true. The Bible never says that. But if it did, it would be gospel. I've looked at it from many points of view, many angles. You know, an unmanaged mind will always be become devilish. It will always commit sin. It will always lead others into sin. Always. But we think our brain is our mind, and the brain is not the mind. So we always, most human beings, I will tell you, I say 95% of human beings have an idle mind. That's why about 90. That's probably why about 95% of human beings are not rich. Hard truths today, y'all. Some hard truths today, okay? Ouch. So when you see with your mind, we see with this thing uh uh mm, okay. So where your left and your right limits are directed, how they squeeze and open, how your left and your right's limits go is with your words. You know, the Bible says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This, to me, is a monumental principle that I think we all should pay attention to. Let's run a quick exercise, shall we? Okay. Red ball. A red ball bouncing. A red ball bouncing at school. A red ball bouncing at school on Jupiter. A red ball bouncing at school on Jupiter in a rainstorm. A red ball bouncing on Jupiter in a rainstorm with a rhinoceros. A red ball bouncing on Jupiter with a rainstorm with a rhinoceros doing jumping jacks. Okay, of course this is not real, but my words directed your focus. Did you see that? Like, let me know in the comment section if you actually saw that. Okay? Like, if you experienced that. This is proof to you that it is true. So, when you are emotionally rehearsing when cooking all by yourself, and you're cursing out your ex-husband or your ex-wife, when you're trying to tell your kids that are not physically present to stop lying to you, you're speaking words. And these words are directing your focus. And your focus ultimately creates an image. And this image, when it travels through your mind, creates a thing called mindset. And this mindset, whether you know it or not, it's your overarching opinion about everything. Black people, white people, homosexual people, tall people, short people, Cuban people, food, chicken, vegetarians, vegans, Republicans, Democrats, all of everything. All of everything. You have a mindset about it. Okay, I don't try and act all high and mighty and say, "Oh, I don't think anything." Yes, you do. We all do. We might not communicate it, but we do. 100%. Now, this mindset is the end portion of it's the end product that your mind produces something, anything. And this mindset is like the final package. It's the final package. And this mindset is just a single data point that your brain picks up. Just like it picks up texture, it picks up light, it picks up sound, it picks up taste, it picks up, all these other things. Your mindset is just another data point. So, but your mindset is like the what is this? It's like the anchor point of what your brain looks for. So whenever you hear black people and your mindset of black people, whether you get anxious, whether you get excited, whether you think that they're good people or bad people, that mindset drives your brain to detect that in reality. Makes sense? Does this make sense, everyone? So your mindset is incredibly important, but you can't change your mindset if you don't communicate properly. Remember, this live stream is about communication. Okay? Your mindset ultimately begins with communication. How you talk to others, how you commune with others, what words you choose. Everything and anything you have today is because you communicated with words somehow. I mean it. Rich people are evil. Okay, stay poor. All right? The elites. Okay, you will never be an elite. Stay poor. Uh-oh. I'm making people mad today. Uh-oh. But, black people are white people are this. Vegans are horrible. Okay, well, remember what you focus on. Okay, you create a mindset over. That mindset helps your brain figure out how to perpetuate more of that. I hope I'm getting through to you. Okay? Side note, did you know that you can think without words? Or you can't think without words. You cannot think without words. Try thinking right now without words. If you're honest, you might pull up an image of like a bouncy ball or a giraffe or a hat or a car, but you cannot think without words. Okay? So, with that being said, um because you cannot think without words, you can speak without thinking. Isn't this crazy? You can speak without thinking. How is this? How can you speak without thinking, but you can't think without words? Well, speaking without thinking is called venting. Did you know venting is evil? Ooh, I'm tearing somebody's world up today. Oh, I just want to heal today, Kyle. I have a hard life, Kyle. Are you actually looking for healing, or are you wanting to get that monkey off your back? Because it's hard. You don't want to deal with those demons because it's hard. What is venting? So, we have to go back to some definitions, okay? Everybody put the word spirit in the comment section so I can begin. So, the word spirit, it means breath. The word spirit, it means breath. Okay? Breath. Like, okay? The word spirit, it means breath, breathing. Spirituality, it means the art of breathing. My language, my words, English. Okay, I'm speaking English. Hola, ¿cómo está? That's Spanish. There's a whole bunch of other types of languages. Though that is spirituality. Spirituality is an art. Did you know it was said that all construction, all modern buildings came from art, clay pots? Yeah, we were just messing around with mud and grass mixture and water, and we like, oh, once we put it in the sun and let it sit out for a little bit, it hardens. We don't have to sleep in these tents and um, uh, caves and all this other crazy stuff. Okay, now we have buildings, and it all came from art. Spirituality kind of works the same way. So when you have a pattern of breath, you know, you have your highs, you have your lows. Okay. Now, when I'm upset, angry, sad, depressed, my breathing pattern is lower. I have a low vibration. Some people call it a low vibration. This means that my pattern of breath is in my lower lungs. Spirituality. This is spirituality. Okay. And it being in my lower lungs, when I am talking to you, don't be surprised when you feel a little, tingle, and you just you get a little bit irritated with me. Why do you get irritated whenever you talk to Kyle? Because he might be frustrated, even though he's smiling. Why do you get sad when you're talking to Kyle? Oh, because he's sad deep down. Detection doesn't always happen with your ears or your eyes. Sometimes you detect things in spirit. All right? So venting is evil. The Bible says idle lips are the devil's mouthpiece. When you are not managing what you are saying, what you are communicating, the devil will communicate through you. Demons will communicate through you. It's true. It happens all the time. Oops, I didn't mean to say that. Oh, I apologize, Kyle. Please forgive me. I was thinking that, but I didn't mean I didn't mean it, to come out. Venting. Now, when I'm sad, angry, I might go to my best friend and ask my best friend, hey man, can you talk to me for a little bit? I'm not going through I'm not going through a good time right now. Life is really hard right now. Can I talk to you for a second? And because humans have had we all have an internal fear of being perceived as rude. We'll say, yeah, Kyle, I'll talk to you. Let me hear it. Okay. Listen to me carefully, people. If you do not understand what demons that this person might be going through, do not listen to them. Because you might be depressed and now you're taking on Jezebel. That's what venting is. Venting is just transferring one spirit to the next. That's what venting is. Spirituality. Kind of like venting your house. Like if it's cold in my house and I need to turn on some air conditioning, or if it's cold, I need to turn on some heat. The heat goes through the vent. And it comes into my room or my kitchen or my basement or wherever I'm at. And guess what? Now I'm warm. That's venting. Okay? And for all the people that need to vent, just take these words into serious consideration. Emotions are not your master. They're not your leader. You do not obey emotions. Emotions are not intuition, but I can't really explain that in depth in this video. It's going to be that's going to get too lengthy. But you are not supposed to obey your emotions. When you do obey your emotions, demons will own you. Demons like Asmodeus, the ruler of lust. Demons like Leviathan, the ruler of pride. Demons like Beelzebub, the ruler of gluttony. Demons like Mammon, the ruler of greed. Right? These demons will own you. Why? Because they need your emotions to make you weak. Uh-oh, here comes the fun police. Kyle, the fun police. I can't have any emotions. You do what you want. It's your life, your decisions. Nonetheless, I'm going to move on. So you can't think without words, but you can speak without thinking. So let's talk about the difference, or let's instill some discernment right quick, shall we? Everybody put the word discernment in the comment section so I can begin. Okay? Discernment. Put it in the comment section. Okay. If you don't know how to spell it, it doesn't matter. Okay? Just put it down. All right. So talking versus communication. What's the difference between talking versus communication? Well, communication, remember, to communicate is just to make information common. Hey, I'm going to the store. As soon as you acknowledge, all right, great. Okay, we have communicated. Hi, my name's Kyle. We communicated. What's your name? That's now a conversation. Okay, I'm sorry if it feels like I'm talking to you or communicating to you as if you are a child. Don't worry about it. Okay, learning is like classes in session. So communication, it requires one who delivers and one who receives. It requires the provider and it requires the disciple. It requires the teacher and the disciple. Communication. Okay? In every last session of your life that you communicate, somebody is teaching and somebody is being receiving the discipline. Okay, and discipline is not at all like spanking. Like discipline, it means the lesson. Disciple means the one who learns. Now, education and the educator are different. I'm talking about like Jesus. I'm talking about Buddha. I'm talking about Muhammad. I'm talking about pastors, prophets. Okay, those are people who have the spiritual gift of teaching. Like me, I have the spiritual gift of teaching. All right. So communication comes from teachers. And on the opposite end of teaching, 100% is discipline, is the lesson. So talking, it just means to utter. Okay, it's just noise. That's what venting is. When you are, making sounds out of your mouth, but you are not actually producing anything. There's no goal at the end of this. You just want to, get it off your chest. You want to express. Talking is just another form of expression. And expression, like we are a higher form, a higher life form. We are designed to communicate, but we can express. Communication and expression are different things. Colors express. Grass express. My dog express. My dog also has the ability to communicate. My dog Sadie can tell me when she wants to go outside, when she's hungry, when she wants to play. But most of the time, my dog only has the ability to express. And the word express, it means to push out. Expression and communication are not the same thing. Communication is designed for a higher form of intelligence, a higher form of God's creation. And if you didn't know, God had brought into existence 3 forms of creation. There is the creation, which is like color, wind, sound. Okay. Then there's creatures, worm, dogs, butterfly, giraffes. Okay. Then there's creators. There's you and I, made in God's image. All right. Are we understanding this? So when you are talking, nothing productive is happening. Nothing productive is happening. And yes, you can talk and communicate in your mind. So when you are 100% when you are communicating, even if you are doing it internally, there's always something else there. Always. There is always something else. When you're praying to God, God is there. When you're, and even if you don't know how to pray, which most people don't know how to pray. Side note, did you know that there are 7 levels of prayer? 7. Yeah, I've written about it in my ebook called A Piece Called Love. 7. And out of these 7 comes your manifestation. And depending on the level of prayer is when is what you reveal. But if you want to learn more about prayer, manifestation, enroll in my course, See Differently, Lead Stronger. The truth about manifestation. No more of this fluffy stuff. I thank God for the wisdom He's given me. I really sincerely do. Um, so when you communicate, even internally, your communication is it always requires something else. When you're talking, it doesn't require anybody. Although there can be two babbling fools just going off at each other. I used to not like small talk. Small talk is okay. Now that I understand its purpose, it's okay. But most people have small talk um, only only because they think they are networking. Small talk. Small talk is like oil to an engine. You don't necessarily need the oil for the engine to work. It just won't work for long. Okay, small talk is your way into somebody's heart sometimes. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, it's cold outside. Oh, hey, Kyle, I like your necklace. Hey, Kyle, I like your hat. Really? Where are you from? I'm from Arizona. This and that. Really, I've never been. So that's how talk works. What's your business? Right? What do you do? What do you stand for? Okay. So, small talk is necessary, but only if there's a goal. So, communication versus talking. Now you know the difference. Okay. If you didn't know, now you know. All right. Now, did you know there are different types of languages? And I'm not talking about verbal language. Okay, verbal language is only a type of language, like English, Spanish, Tagalog. But then we have love language. We all know about the love languages already. We know about, physical touch, acts of service, words of affirmation. Mine is words of affirmation. Tell me I'm handsome. Tell me I'm doing a good job. Tell me that, what you're listening to is actually resonating with you. Words of affirmation means more to me than anything else. You can do, acts of service, like wash the dishes or, do something for me. But what ends up happening is it doesn't resonate with me. I'll feel as if you are not loving me. Now, I know with my brain that you're making effort. So many people get this, like the love language, they communicate through love languages incorrectly because they think that they are supposed to exhibit their love language. So if my love language is words of affirmation, and I am sitting here telling you how beautiful you are and all this other stuff, and that's not your love language, you're going to think or feel that I don't love you, although you see the effort. Resentment will eventually grow. That's how it works. You need to you need to communicate in their love language. It might feel bad or weird to you, but you need to communicate in their love language for them to feel it. Feel, not think, feel loved. Okay? So, love language. Another type of communication called body language. We've all heard about this too, Body language. How are you sitting? Are you not confident? Are you aggressive? Are you flirting? Whatever. Okay. Are you sad? Are you, you know, I want you to know that, your body language is also very important as well. And it speaks without, hold on. Okay. So it speaks without you even understanding. There's a phrase that says the body doesn't lie. Okay. They say that the body doesn't lie. Okay. And um, when you are um, interested in a woman or a man, your body organically, naturally will turn towards them. Okay, your face might blush a little bit. You might fold your hands in front of your chest when you're not comfortable. When you are holding back words, you might scratch your throat or mess with your lips. Okay, and this is body language. All right. Now there's another thing called sex language. Yeah, there's love language, body language, and sexual language. Now, love language is here for your brain. This is a brain thing. This is so that your brain can feel that this person is loving me. Child, friend, mother, daughter, husband, wife, okay? Body language, I'm still discovering the purpose of body language, but I understand that body language doesn't lie, okay? But your sexual language is for your spirit. A lot of people think sex is a taboo topic. Did you know sex is the most natural thing in all of existence? Now, of course, we misuse it and we've tabooed it. We made pornography out of it and all these crazy stuff. It gets strange, but everything is here because of sex. Two things coming together, creating one thing, sex. Like plants, rocks, single cell organisms, humans, giraffes, birds, worms, dogs. Like sex is absolutely the most organic thing to existence. Sex is your creative force. Your libido, your sexual energy. Yes. And here's a nugget. Okay? Here's a nugget for you. Whenever you feel that sexual energy, it's not always designed for you to have sex with another human, like at all. Most times it's here for you to create something, to build your business, to write that book, to go meditate, to go pray to God. For real. It's almost certainly not for you to have 15,000 children. I mean, just think, how much times have you felt your sexual energy in your life? I'd say probably almost 1,000 times right now. Maybe tens of thousands that you've gotten or felt your sexual energy. Just imagine if every single time you thought you were supposed to have sex with someone else, and like, that is crazy. Okay, like so there are sex languages, and I've written about that. Sexual language is for your spirit to understand that connection is happening. Communication and connection go hand in hand. When you make contact with anything, eye contact, audio contact, when you touch somebody, even spiritual contact, okay? Contact is the beginning of communication. Contact itself is the beginning of any type of communication. So contact, you can either connect or reject. That's it. When you come in contact with somebody, you either connect or you reject. That's it. On every level. Emotional, spiritual, physical, financial. And I mean that. And whatever you connect with, you become. This is why attention is so important. Focus is power, my friends. And your words shape your focus. Is this making sense? Okay. So if you want to learn more about sexual languages, you can, download my ebook, A Piece Called Love. Okay. And then there's a thing called spiritual language. Okay. Spiritual language. What is spiritual language? It's called inspiration, to be inspired. Now, what does inspire mean? It means to be in spirit. Sorry, my neck is hurting. Now, why is this spiritual language? Why is inspiration spiritual language? Well, this thing called intuition. This thing called intuition is like the watering hose. It's an empty tube that connects to your heart, and it goes off into the spirit world. And inspiration, what we call this gut feeling. Oh, well, this gut feeling, I have a gut feeling about this. I shouldn't talk to him. I needed to, start my book. I need to go to the gym. Something's telling me, right? Inspiration. God can inspire you, or the devil can inspire you. Inspiration is not always good. You might not always be inspired by God. Demonic inspiration is called temptation. Okay? Being tempted, being led into sin. Hey, let's go get drunk today. Let's go watch pornography. Let's gossip. Let's be lazy. Let's procrastinate. Let's not multiply the things that God gave us. That's temptation. That's demonic inspiration. You can do this later. Demonic inspiration. Okay? We need to reframe our mindset on inspiration, because inspiration is the spiritual information. It's the spiritual language coming through intuition. Inspiration is the spiritual language coming through intuition from a spirit, from Jezebel, from God, from an angel, from Belphegor, any other demon. Okay, for real. So I break all of this down in my course called the See Differently, Lead Stronger. Communication is so valuable to you. When you are able to communicate properly, understanding your environment, understanding the person, understanding the level of awareness that the other person is at, understanding the God that the other person serves, whether it's a zodiac sign, whether it's the Almighty, the Alpha and the Omega, whether Jesus Christ, whether it's Buddha, whether it's Muhammad, whatever God that you serve, whether it's money, whatever God that you serve, understanding the God that they serve, you are able to communicate more effectively. Okay? Side note, this is why, if you're trying to grow online, you don't want to be the smartest one online. Communicate to all of everybody online in a 4th grade level. You want to communicate with them with a low cognitive load, meaning you don't want them to think about what you're saying. You want them to just swallow it. Just to understand it as it is. You serve the completed meal to them. Don't serve them, a recipe and individual chicken, carrots, potatoes, and tell them to cook it themselves. Don't do that. Not online. Why? Because most people online are not here to think. Even though you might be a doctor, you might be a philosopher, you might be great with your words, but the people online are here to scroll. So your communication online needs to be very simple. Dumb it down to very simplistic phrases, short sentences, and I guarantee you'll see your audience skyrocket. Okay. So if you guys want to, enroll in the course, let me know. Send me an email, send me a DM. I'll be glad to send you over the link and how to get access to it. Your entire life will change. 100%. Your entire life will change. For the better. And guys, thank you so much for being here. Okay. The next week we are going to be talking about spiritual warfare. And spiritual warfare is something everybody needs to understand. Man, woman, business owner, father, mother, like your spiritual warfare is a thing that a lot of people don't understand. I understand it. I've been teaching all of the stuff I've been teaching. Like you've heard today, all the stuff that you've been reading online about me, all the stuff that you've been seeing on my social media posts. I've been doing this for 10 years. Okay, 10 years. And God bless all of you. Yes, I am on YouTube. My YouTube is linked in my bio. You can always rewatch this live stream on my YouTube. Okay. Spiritual warfare is coming up next week. And if any, like your mind is where spiritual warfare is. And if you don't master your mind, you will lose spiritual warfare every time. The course called See Differently, Lead Stronger sharpens your mind. It talks about spiritual warfare. So all of your battles with lust, with pride, with anybody who's possessed with Jezebel in your business, any person who's greedy in your family, you might be growing your business and it works. And somebody's trying to get greedy. Now you're in spiritual warfare. Okay. Maybe you're dealing with poverty, a poverty mindset. All you can see is lack. That's spiritual warfare. So next week, tune in. Okay. I love you guys. Love hard, love always. Focus is power. If you didn't know, now you know.